Hello and welcome to this video, where we will be discussing the recent incident in the South China Sea where US and Philippine forces opened fire on a Chinese warship. This incident has caused a significant increase in tensions between the United States, China, and the Philippines, and could potentially have far-reaching consequences. United States and Philippine forces fired on a mock enemy warship in the South China Sea on Wednesday, the latest display of American firepower in Asia as tensions with China continue to rise. The exercise, watched live by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., was part of the annual Balakatan drills, which are scheduled to run until April 28 and involve more than 17,600 military personnel, the largest such exercises ever conducted by the two longtime treaty allies. U.S. aircraft, including F-35 and F-16 fighter jets, as well as AIM-ARS rocket systems and Cobra helicopters, joined with Philippine FA-50 fighter jets, helicopters and artillery to fire on a decommissioned warship towed to a site within Philippine territorial waters off the island of Luzon, a Philippine military release said. Luzon, the northernmost of the Philippines' main islands, is only 280 miles, 452 kilometers, from Taiwan, the self-ruled island over which the Chinese Communist Party claims sovereignty despite never having ruled it. Earlier this month, China's state-run media labeled the drills as an attempt to target China. U.S. and Philippine military leaders said Wednesday's exercise was designed to synchronize combat forces. This training increased the exercise's realism and complexity, a key priority shared between the armed forces of the Philippines and the U.S. military, said Lieutenant Gen. William Journey, the commander of U.S. Marine Corps forces. The Pacific said in a statement. The exercises come against a backdrop of warming relations between the two treaty allies following the election of Marcos Jr., who has sought to develop closer ties with Washington in the face of a more assertive China. The U.S. and the Philippines have maintained a mutual defense treaty since 1951, but under Marcos' predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte, the Philippines tilted toward China, downplaying long-standing territorial disputes with Beijing, while seeking to attract investment. The Balakatan exercises Tagalog for shoulder-to-shoulder follow the announcement. The Philippines will grant increased access by U.S. forces to bases in the archipelago under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Arrangement, EDCA. The 4 bases joined 5 included earlier, including 3 on the main island of Luzon, close to Taiwan, and 1 on Balabac Island close to Chinese installations on the disputed islands in the South China Sea. China claims indisputable sovereignty over almost all of the 1.3 million square mile South China Sea, including several islands claimed by the Philippines, despite a 2016 international tribunal ruling refuting its supposed historical rights of the area. Regional tensions in the South China Sea spiked in February, when the Philippines said a Chinese Coast Guard ship aimed a military-grade laser at some of the crew of a Philippine Coast Guard vessel, temporarily blinding them. Besides Tuesday's exercise, this year's Balakatan drills have also featured weaponry battle-tested by Ukrainian troops defending against Russian forces, including handheld Javelin anti-tank missiles and AIM-ARS rocket systems. Another key element has been the presence of U.S. 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment, a new concept for Marine Corps warfighting designed with a conflict against China in mind, analysts say. The unit is designed to be highly mobile, conduct strike operations as well as air and missile defense, and supporting naval surface warfare, according to Marine Corps releases. The exercises have also included amphibious operations, maritime security, cyber defense, and counterterrorism operations, as well as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, according to a statement from the U.S. Embassy in Manila. Meanwhile, in another sign of increasing U.S.-Philippine military cooperation, the U.S. Pacific Air Forces said Tuesday a key air exercise will return to the Philippines next month for the first time since 1990. Exercise Cope Thunder, to be held May 1 to 12, will feature U.S. Air Force S-16 fighter jets deploying from Misawa Air Base in Japan and joining with Philippine Air Force units at Clark Air Base to provide bilateral fighter training and improve combined interoperability. A U.S. Air Force statement said, Cope Thunder began in the Philippines in 1976, but was moved to Alaska in the early 1990s as the U.S. Air Force ended operations at Clark. The South China Sea has been a hotly contested region for years, with multiple countries claiming ownership over various islands and territories in the area. China has claimed sovereignty over the majority of the South China Sea, which is home to valuable natural resources such as oil and gas reserves. The United States has been involved in the region due to its strategic importance for trade and security. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei also claim various parts of the South China Sea. Tensions between China and other countries in the region have been increasing in recent years, as China has continued to build artificial islands in the South China Sea and assert its territorial claims. The United States has responded by increasing its military presence in the region, conducting freedom of navigation operations near Chinese-held islands, and supporting other countries in their territorial disputes with China. On the day of the incident, a Chinese warship entered the waters near the Philippine-controlled Reed Bank. US and Philippine forces, who were conducting joint military exercises in the area, issued multiple warnings to the Chinese warship to leave the area. When the warship failed to comply, the US and Philippine forces opened fire on the Chinese vessel, disabling it and forcing it to leave the area. China has condemned the incident, calling it a violation of its sovereignty and demanding an investigation into the matter. The United States and the Philippines have defended their actions, stating that they were acting in self-defense and in accordance with international law. The recent incident in the South China Sea, where US and Philippine forces fired on a Chinese warship, has heightened tensions in the region and could potentially have significant consequences. The dispute in the South China Sea is complex and has been ongoing for years, with multiple countries vying for control over the area. The United States' involvement in the region has further complicated the situation, as it seeks to maintain its strategic interests in the area. The aftermath of this incident remains to be seen, but it is clear that tensions between China, the United States, and the Philippines are likely to continue. Thank you for watching this video, and please leave your thoughts and comments below.